Hey guys, welcome to 6 Minutes for Monday, October 3rd. I'm Jason Fulmore, SC Russell, and yeah, long weekend in Michigan. Had a blast at the Grappler Fall Classic. Got to see a lot of Southeast kids up there doing work and wrestling extremely well. Really from all the states. I saw Alabama kids, Tennessee kids, South Carolina. Don't know that I saw any North Carolina kids up there. Definitely a strong presence from Georgia with Compound and Roundtree. And then a lot of Florida kids, even though the hurricane went through and we lost quite a few that weren't able to fly out in the Tampa, Orlando area. There was still a really strong presence of wrestlers from the state of Florida. I had a great time talking to them. First, I think it's important to I guess, kind of remember or take a moment and kind of acknowledge the path that Ian took through the state of Florida, and especially the devastation on the southwest coast of Florida. I know we have a lot of wrestling families, a strong wrestling community down in southwest Florida, and I just want all of you to know that we were definitely thinking about you, and hope that you guys are doing okay and on your way back to some level of recovery from such a terrible storm. I didn't see the path up through South Carolina. I hope that the Hilton Head, Myrtle Beach, and all of that crew is equally as taken care of, and it was not as bad as maybe it was in Southwest Florida, where it was pretty terrible. Anyway, moving to this past weekend, we were at the Grappler Fall Classic. I just got back, so I have not had an opportunity to put all of the videos together, a recap together, or anything. I got off the plane and pretty much went to sleep, got up this morning, and yeah, this is it. So, but I'll start making that and hopefully haul that out to everyone tomorrow. Look for a recap and then a bunch of clips of the sights and sounds. Also have a ton of pictures to post, so look for those as well. But today, and actually late last week before I left for Michigan, I had the opportunity to talk to Holy Angels co-social media director, Joshua Atkinson. And Josh and I sat down and talked about the tournament this year, Holy Angels. It's moved to Greensboro. Its continued growth, kind of the mission behind Holy Angels, and how it kind of got started and that sort of thing. And yeah, they're throwing their hat into the ring as one of the toughest tournaments in the Southeast this coming year. And they have quite a list of really top programs that are scheduled to be there the last weekend of December. And yeah, they're making a real push to have a very, very difficult tournament in season in the state of North Carolina. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with Joshua Atkinson. And yeah, you guys have a great day. Look for stuff tomorrow. See ya. Bye. All right, here with Josh Atkinson. Hey, Josh, how are things?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. How's Belmont Abbey? Because you're up at Belmont Abbey, right?
Yeah, Belmont Abbey, about 15 minutes outside of Charlotte. Beautiful campus, about 2,000 kids. So if you're wanting to do sports management, it's a great place. We're building a hospital on campus. So if you're into nursing, it's great. But it's really just a beautiful campus. Charlotte's 15 minutes away. The mountains are about an hour away. So it's really a nice little sanctuary if you really want a good college experience.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and we're talking Holy Angels, and you're the co-social media director for Holy Angels, but you're also a college bowler. So is bowling big at Belmont Abbey?
Yeah, bowling's pretty big at Belmont Abbey. Obviously you have that thing like, oh, there are bowlers, but bowling's actually a really neat sport. I could talk ages about bowling, but bowling's really good. We're well respected on campus. Uh, Also, I'm the manager for the Abbey wrestling team, so I kind of mix bowling and wrestling, and so got the wrestlers to come out to some of the bowling events there. And vice versa. So it's just a really supportive community at Belmont Abbey College.
So is that how you have the connection back to Holy Angels? Is because you're the manager of the wrestling team at Belmont Abbey, or?
Well, I'll say that's one of the reasons I got the job because we had to do an application process, and they're like, "Hey, what do you do?" So I list off all the things I do. I'm a bowler. I'm a manager of social media for the Abbey Wrestling Team. I'm a producer for the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. I'm in the Sports Management Club. I do all sorts of things. I'm a double major in sports management and psychology, and I also actually wrestled. And I think that gives an actual experience for kind of what they're kind of looking for since originally they wanted someone with social media experience but also knows what wrestlers and their parents would want, and that's why I was selected for the job along with my co-social media director.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's great that you wear different hats and you have that perspective. I think that's certainly is helpful. And I've noticed you guys are doing a lot more social media, a lot more presence on social media for Holy Angels, which is fantastic. And for those individuals who don't know Holy Angels, I mean, this is one of the top five um, high school tournaments in the Southeast, not just in North Carolina. It might be the best in North Carolina. Can you give me just a real brief history of the whole of Holy Angels, how it came to be, that sort of thing?
So, brief history, Holy Angels is actually a charity. It's actually right here in Belmont. And so when I
Oh,
saw that, I was like, oh, so that's what Holy Angels actually is. And, as a wrestling manager, sometimes we would borrow their wrestling mat. I see Holy Angels on it. And so I was like, oh, cool. But Holy Angels, they're actually here. They help elderly and they help disabled people here in Belmont. You can go to their website and donate if you so choose. But how they got into like a wrestling tournament was that a local high school, Charlotte Catholic, used to
hmm.
host that tournament. And it just kept growing year after year after year. I think this is like the 13th or 14th year that it's been a tournament. And so eventually they just had to move out of their gym. So they went to the Bowplex, which is the Bojangles Coliseum, along with Ovens Arena around this area. But it was in the Bojangles Coliseum, which is a really, really beautiful building if you've never been. It's a dome,
Hmm.
a couple hundred square feet. They just had renovations to it, but then it grew. And so now, live December 29th through 30th on Track Wrestling, and tickets available for in person, we will be in the Greensboro Coliseum, the home of the state tournament, but more importantly, the home of the Holy Angels Invitational.
Yeah, well, and you guys have grown and grown and grown, and yeah, it really is a thing. I think I was looking through the list of teams, and there's like a hundred teams that
Yeah,
are
100, just
currently.
crossed 100 today.
Is that
So,
right? Yeah,
yeah. So
and
last year,
yeah.
it
Hmm.
was at 68 teams. And that was, before pre-social media with me and my co-social media director. Shout out to Victoria. But we were like, okay, how can we grow this? So we do a lot of social media. And now seeing that we almost kind of 50% increase, it's just amazing with the work that we're putting in.
Yeah, and it's not just 100 teams. I mean, so I want to get into the field and talk a little bit about the field for this year's Holy Angels. Um, but you've got a number of different divisions, right? You've got JV.
Right.
I know the girls now have a division, and then obviously the high school guys. Um, but you also have teams from Virginia, obviously North Carolina, Georgia, so on and so forth. What was the why? Like, how were you able to pull in teams from everywhere?
Well, if you build it, they will come, right? So how does, Fargo become a good tournament? How does Super 32 become a good tournament? Well, it gets recognized on this national level. We say it all the time. We're the biggest high school tournament in the Southeast, period. And so you said, top five. Well, we're trying to be number one on that list. And so, hey, we reach out to all these teams. Hey, this team knows this team, this, this team. They bring it in. We also promote about all of our stuff. We always grab our returners, and this year was a bit different because there's another tournament going on around the same time, and that was kind of before we were doing the social media. And so me and my social media director were like, okay, well now before Holy Angels didn't have any competition. Now we have competition with another tournament trying to bring in teams. So how can we be better? And that actually pushed us to get more reach, more expansive. And so now we've had over 100 teams from 8 different states. Some teams as far away as West Virginia and Ohio are coming to this event. So it's really, really grown, and we just intend to grow it even more.
Yeah. So I actually was going to ask you because I thought I saw a Wisconsin team on the list. Is that not true?
No, that is true. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Wow. Okay. All right. And then for those of us in the Southeast, let's like we'll just drill into just a little bit. Um, you have I think it's nine of the top five teams in each of the classifications in North Carolina. So teams like Laney and Lake Norman, as well as Bandy's, all finished in the top five in their classification. So you have top level competition in North Carolina. And then you also bring in like top level teams like Buford and West Forsyth and things like that out of Georgia. So was there a state that you haven't gotten to yet that you wanted to kind of try to reel in?
Uh, we were trying to get Florida in, but they have a hurricane coming their way, so they got more important things to worry about. But no, we've had as long as we could just get people in, that was the thing. And you talked about having these top level teams. Well, we also have top level talent. So like, I'll throw out a stat for you. If you look at the men's champions specifically, 13 of them went to the state finals. That other one finished third. Out of those 13 that went to the state finals, 11 of them became state champions in their state. So if you win our event,
You're right
nine
there,
times out of
right?
10, you're going to win the state title. So it basically is like just how Midlands and the Southern Scuffle are for these uh, college teams of like seeing how you are on the national level before the national tournament. The Holy Angels Invitational is where you see how you fit into your state. And I've actually wrestled Holy Angels champions. I went to Moxville and wrestled the 152-pound champion Jeremiah Price, I think in May. And we had he beat me up, but he was, he's good for a reason.
Yeah,
And
he is
so
good.
you just see like the level of competition that wants to be at Holy Angels and that wins Holy Angels. And, there's no slouches. I think last tournament we had 5 state champions in one bracket, and 4 of them were on the wrestlebacks. So it gets really intense.
Yeah, no, it certainly is top level competition. Is there have you guys, because you now have crossed that 100 mark, have you hit your cap, or are you still recruiting teams? If people are interested, do they still have an opportunity or no?
I believe they still have an opportunity. I know when we were at like 63 teams, we had talked like, is there going to be a cap? And uh, our tournament directors, Kelly Shuffler and Jim Treller, who are prominent in North Carolina, were like, yeah, maybe when we reach 100. Well, surprise, we reached 100. So we'll have to discuss that, but get in while you still can. We're still accepting applications as of this point. So come one,
Okay.
come all.
So how do they find the application? Like what where do they go?
So you can go multiple different ways. You can email Holy Angels Invitational at gmail.com, Holy Angels Marketing, MRKT at gmail.com, or go to our social media pages, just Holy Angels Invitational, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. We crushed it on Instagram. We were up by like 15,000%. So, hey,
Yeah, you've been
it's
doing a lot.
growing.
I've seen it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we're having this conversation is
Yeah.
that, yeah, we definitely have seen it. That's awesome, Josh. Would it be possible as we get closer to the event that maybe we get back together, and I don't know if it's with you or if it's with Kelly or one of the tournament directors, and talk a little bit about a week out of get preparing for the tournament itself. Would that be
Yeah,
possible?
you can ask me every single week. I would love to come back on. Believe Victoria can come on. She's a freshman at UCF, so she's kind of dealing with the whole
Oh,
Florida
she
thing,
she's a
right?
little busy at the moment.
Yeah, but no, Victoria is great, and so I know she would love to come on if she chooses. But I would definitely come back on and talk to you guys about it. We're also doing other kind of podcasts in the North Carolina area, so we're hitting everybody. So This is the
That's
marquee event to be at. If your team isn't in there, talk to your coach to get you there because this is where all these coaches talk about, hey, we're going to wrestle the best competition. Well, the Holy Angels is the best of the best.
That's awesome. I appreciate you taking the time today, Josh. And I'll make sure I put the link to all your stuff in the description. And I'm gonna reach back out in a month or two, and we're gonna talk a little bit about once the field is finally set. Kind of looking forward to kind of what's gonna happen in December. Is that cool?
That's cool. But I just want to say one thing
Uh huh.
to all wrestlers out there. You may not even be wrestling at Holy Angels. We do have a college recruitment forum. I'm in charge of bringing college coaches to this event. We want to try and promote, wrestling at the next level. You're good at this level. I was good enough to have offers to wrestle Division One. Obviously, I went a different path, but some kids wrestling's their life. And so we have a college recruitment form. If you're a wrestler who's wrestling at the Holy Angels, fill that out. If you're not wrestling at Holy Angels, still fill that out, and we'll put you in a separate section of who you're not wrestling, but honorable mentions this so you can wrestle at that next level because you want to build wrestling on multiple levels from when you're 9 years old to when you're 19 wrestling at the highest levels.
Awesome. So it's a form for them to fill out that goes to the coaches, and basically gives their contact information to the coaches.
Right, it will be a Google form. You can find it on our Instagram and Facebook page as well as Twitter. It'll be a Google form. You'll just fill it out, your name, age, maybe potential major, what you're kind of looking for in a college, ACT scores, SAT scores, all that good stuff that college coaches really want to know so that
Hmm.
they can take a look at you and give you an accurate estimate of what it would take for you to come to their school.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Josh. I'll put that into the description as well. I'm gonna reach out in a couple months, and we're gonna talk about it in greater detail. Does that work?
That works. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. You take care. See ya.